In the name of ELOH, the Yielder, the Merciful. Alif, Lam, Mim, Sat. A book revealed unto you, so let your heart be oppressed no more by any difficulty on that account, that with it you might warn the erring and teach the believers. Follow, O men, the revelation given to you from your sustainer, and follow not as friends or protectors other than him. Little it is you remember of admonition. How many towns have we destroyed for their sins? Our punishment took them on a sudden by night, or while they slept for their afternoon rest. When thus our punishment took them, no cry did they utter but this: Indeed we did wrong. Then shall we question those to whom our message was sent, and those by whom we sent it. And verily, we shall recount their whole story with knowledge, for we were never absent at any time or place. The balance that day will be true to a nicety. Those whose scale of good will be heavy will prosper. Those whose scale will be light will find their souls in perdition, for that they wrongfully treated our signs. It is we who have placed you with authority on earth and provided you therein with means for the fulfillment of your life. Small are the thanks that you give. It is we who created you and gave you shape. Then we bade the angels bow down to Adam, and they bowed down. Not so Iblis. He refused to be of those who bowed down. ELOH said, What prevented you from bowing down when I commanded you? He said, I am better than he. You created me from fire and him from clay. ELOH said, Get you down from this. It is not for you to be arrogant here. Get out, for you are of the meanest of creatures. He said, Give me respite till the day they are raised up. ELOH said, Be you among those who have respite. He said, Because you have thrown me out of the way, lo, I will lie in wait for them on your straight way. Then I will assault them from before them and behind them, from their right and their left. Nor will you find gratitude in most of them for your mercies. ELOH said, Get out from this, disgraced and expelled. If any of them follow you, I will fill hell with you all. O Adam, you and your wife dwell in the garden and enjoy its good things as you wish, but do not approach this tree, or you run into harm and transgression. Then began Satan to whisper suggestions to them, bringing openly before their minds all their shame that was hidden from them before. He said, Your sustainer only forbade you this tree, lest you should become angels or such beings as live forever. And he swore to them both that he was their sincere advisor. So by deceit he brought about their fall. When they tasted of the tree, their shame became manifest to them, and they began to sew together the leaves of the garden over their bodies. And their sustainer called to them, Did I not forbid you that tree, and tell you that Satan was an avowed enemy to you? They said, Our sustainer, we have wronged our own souls. If you do not forgive us, and do not bestow upon us your mercy, we shall certainly be lost. ELOH said, Get you down with enmity between yourselves. On earth will be your dwelling place and your means of livelihood for a time. He said, therein you shall live, and therein you shall die, but from it you shall be taken out at last. O you children of Adam, we have bestowed raiment upon you to cover your shame, as well as to be an adornment to you. But the raiment of righteousness, that is the best. Such are among the signs of ELOH, that they may receive admonition. O you children of Adam, let not Satan seduce you in the same manner as he got your parents out of the garden, stripping them of their raiment to expose their shame. For he and his tribe watch you from a position where you cannot see them. We made the evil ones friends only to those without faith. When they do anything that is shameful, they say, we found our fathers doing so. And ELOH commanded us thus. Say, nay, ELOH never commands what is shameful. Do you say of ELOH what you do not know? Say, my sustainer has commanded justice, and that you set your whole selves to him at every time and place of prayer, and call upon him, making your devotion sincere as in his sight. Such as he created you in the beginning, so shall you return. Some he has guided, others have, by their choice, deserved the loss of their way, in that they took the evil ones in preference to ELOH for their friends and protectors, and think that they receive guidance. O children of Adam, wear your beautiful apparel at every time and place of prayer. Eat and drink, but do not waste by excess, for ELOH does not love the wasters. Say, who has forbidden the beautiful gifts of ELOH, which he has produced for his servants, and the things clean and pure, which he has provided for sustenance? Say, they are in the life of this world for those who believe, and purely for them on the day of judgment. Thus do we explain the signs in detail for those who understand. Say, the things that my sustainer has indeed forbidden are shameful deeds, whether open or secret, sins and trespasses against truth or reason, assigning of partners to ELOH, for which he has given no authority, and saying things about ELOH of which you have no knowledge. To every people is a term appointed. When their term is reached, not an hour can they cause delay, nor an hour can they advance it in anticipation. O you children of Adam, whenever there come to you messengers from amongst you, rehearsing my signs to you, those who are righteous and mend their lives, on them shall be no fear, nor shall they grieve. But those who reject our signs and treat them with arrogance, they are companions of the fire, to dwell therein forever. Who is more unjust than one who invents a lie against ELOH or rejects his signs? For such, their portion appointed must reach them from the book of decrees, until, when our messengers of death arrive and take their souls, they say, where are the things that you used to invoke besides ELOH? They will reply, they have left us in the lurch. And they will bear witness against themselves that they had rejected ELOH. He will say, you enter in the company of the peoples who passed away before you, men and jinns, into the fire. Every time a new people enters, it curses its sister people that went before, until they follow each other all into the fire. Says the last about the first. Our sustainer, it is these that misled us, so give them a double penalty in the fire. He will say, doubled for all, but this you do not understand. Then the first will say to the last, see then, you do not have any advantage over us, so you tasted the penalty for all that you did. To those who reject our signs and treat them with arrogance, no opening will there be of the gates of heaven, nor will they enter the garden until the camel can pass through the eye of the needle. Such is our reward for those in reprobation. For them there is hell as a couch below and folds of covering above. Such is our requital of those who do wrong. But those who believe and work righteousness, no burden do we place on any soul but that which it can bear. They will be companions of the garden, therein to dwell forever. And we shall remove from their hearts any lurking sense of injury. Beneath them will be rivers flowing, and they shall say, praise be to ELOH, who has guided us to this felicity. Never could we have found guidance had it not been for the guidance of ELOH. Indeed, it was the truth that the messengers of our sustainer brought to us. And they shall hear the cry, behold, the garden before you. You have been made its inheritors for your deeds of righteousness. The companions of the garden will call out to the companions of the fire. We have indeed found the promises of our sustainer to us true. Have you also found your sustainer's promises true? They shall say, yes, but a crier shall proclaim between them. The curse of ELOH is on the wrongdoers, those who would hinder men from the path of ELOH and would seek in it something crooked, for they were those who denied the hereafter. Between them shall be a veil, and on the heights will be men who would know every one by his marks. They will call out to the companions of the garden, peace on you. They will not have entered, but they will have an assurance thereof. When their eyes shall be turned toward the companions of the fire, they will say, our sustainer, do not send us to the company of the wrongdoers. The men on the heights will call to certain men whom they will know from their marks, saying, of what profit to you were your hordes and your arrogant ways? Behold, are these not the men whom you swore that ELOH would never bless with his mercy? You entered the garden. No fear shall be on you, nor shall you grieve. The companions of the fire were called to the companions of the garden. Pour down to us water or anything that ELOH provides for your sustenance. They will say, ELOH has forbidden both these things to those who rejected him, such as took their religion to be mere amusement and play, and were deceived by the life of the world. That day we shall forget them as they forgot the meeting of this day of theirs, and as they were wont to reject our signs. For we had certainly sent to them a book based on knowledge, which we explained in detail, a guide and a mercy to all who believe. Do they just wait for the final fulfillment of the event? On the day the event is finally fulfilled, Those who disregarded it before will say, the messengers of our sustainer, didn't they bring true tidings? Have we no intercessors now to intercede on our behalf? Or could we be set back? Then should we behave differently from our behavior in the past? In fact, they will have lost their souls, and the things they invented will leave them in the lurch. Your guardian sustainer is ELOH, who created the heavens and the earth in 6 days and is firmly established on the throne of authority. He draws the night as a veil over the day, each seeking the other in rapid succession. He created the sun, the moon, and the stars, all governed by laws under his command. Is it not his to create and to govern? Blessed be ELOH, the cherisher and sustainer of the boundless universes. Call on your sustainer with humility and in private, for ELOH does not love those who trespass beyond bounds. Do no mischief on the earth after it has been set in order, but call on him with fear and longing in your hearts, for the mercy of ELOH is always near to those who do good. It is he who sends the winds like heralds of glad tidings, going before his mercy. When they have carried the heavy laden clouds, we drive them to a land that is dead, make rain to descend thereon, and produce every kind of harvest therewith. Thus shall we raise up the dead, perchance you may remember. From the land that is clean and good, by the will of its cherisher, springs up produce, rich after its kind. But from the land that is bad, springs up nothing but that which is miserly. Thus do we explain the signs by various symbols to those who are grateful. We sent Noah to his people. He said, O my people, worship ELOH. You have no other God but him. I fear for you the punishment of a dreadful day. The leaders of his people said, we see you evidently wandering in mind. He said, O my people, no wandering is there in my mind. On the contrary, I am a messenger from the sustainer and cherisher of the boundless universes. I but fulfill toward you the duties of my sustainer's mission. Sincere is my advice to you. And I know from ELOH something that you do not know. Do you wonder that there has come to you a message from your sustainer through a man of your own people to warn you, so that you may fear ELOH and haply receive his mercy? But they rejected him, and we delivered him and those with him in the ark, but we overwhelmed in the flood those who rejected our signs. They were indeed a blind people. To the Ad people we sent Hud, one of their own brethren. He said, O my people, worship ELOH. You have no other God but him. Will you not fear ELOH? The leaders of the unbelievers among his people said, we see you are an imbecile, and we think you are a liar. He said, O my people, I am no imbecile, but I am a messenger from the sustainer and cherisher of the boundless universes. I but fulfill toward you the duties of my sustainer's mission. I am to you a sincere and trustworthy advisor. Do you wonder that there has come to you a message from your sustainer through a man of your own people to warn you? Call in remembrance that he made you inheritors after the people of Noah, and gave you a stature tall among the nations. Call in remembrance the benefits you have received from ELOH, that so you may prosper. They said, "Do you come to us that we may worship ELOH alone and give up the cult of our fathers? Bring us what you threaten us with, if so be that you tell the truth." He said, "Punishment and wrath have already come upon you from your sustainer. Do you dispute with me over names which you have devised, you and your fathers, without authority from ELOH? Then wait. I am amongst you also waiting. We saved him and those who adhered to him by our mercy, and we cut off the roots of those who rejected our signs and did not believe. To the Thamud people we sent Salih, one of their own brethren. He said, O my people, worship ELOH. You have no other God but him. Now has come to you a clear sign from your sustainer. This she-camel of ELOH is a sign to you. So leave her to graze in ELOH's earth, and let her come to no harm, or you shall be seized with a grievous punishment. And remember how he made you inheritors after the Ad people, and gave you habitations in the land. You build for yourselves palaces and castles in open plains, and carve out homes in the mountains. So bring to remembrance the benefits you have received from ELOH, and refrain from evil and mischief on the earth." The leaders of the arrogant party among his people said to those who were reckoned powerless, those among them who believed, "Do you know indeed that Salih is a messenger from his sustainer?" They said, "We do indeed believe in the revelation which has been sent through him." The arrogant party said, "For our part, we reject what you believe in." Then they hamstrung the she-camel and insolently defied the order of their sustainer, saying, "O Salih, bring about your threats if you are a messenger of ELOH." So the earthquake took them unawares, and they lay prostrate in their homes in the morning. So Salih left them, saying, "O my people, I did indeed convey to you the message for which I was sent by my sustainer. I gave you good counsel, but you do not love good counselors." We also sent Lot. He said to his people, "Do you commit lewdness such as no people in creation ever committed before you? For you practice your lusts on men in preference to women. You are indeed a people transgressing beyond bounds." And his people gave no answer but this. They said, "Drive them out of your city. These are indeed men who want to be clean and pure." But we saved him and his family, except his wife. She was of those who lagged behind. And we rained down on them a shower of brimstone. Then see what was the end of those who indulged in sin and crime. To the Madian people we sent Shuaib, one of their own brethren. He said, "O my people, worship ELOH. You have no other God but him. Now has come unto you a clear sign from your sustainer. Give just measure and wait, nor withhold from the people the things that are their due. And do no mischief on the earth after it has been set in order. That will be best for you if you have faith. And do not squat on every road, breathing threats, hindering from the path of ELOH those who believe in him, and seeking in it something crooked. But remember how you were little, and he gave you increase. And hold in your mind's eye what was the end of those who did mischief. And if there is a party among you who believes in the message with which I have been sent, and a party which does not believe, hold yourselves in patience until ELOH decides between us, for he is the best to decide. The leaders, the arrogant party among his people said, O Shuaib, we shall certainly drive you out of our city, you and those who believe with you, or else you and they shall have to return to our ways and religion. He said, what? Even though we do detest them? We should indeed invent a lie against ELOH if we return to your ways after ELOH has rescued us therefrom. Nor could we by any manner of means return thereto, unless it be as in the will and plan of ELOH, our sustainer. Our sustainer can reach out to the utmost recesses of things by his knowledge. In ELOH is our trust. Our sustainer, you decide between us and our people in truth, for you are the best to decide. The leaders, the unbelievers among his people said, if you follow Shuaib, be sure then you are ruined. But the earthquake took them unawares, and they lay prostrate in their homes before the morning. The men who rejected Shuaib became as if they had never been in the homes where they had flourished. The men who rejected Shuaib, it was they who were ruined. So Shuaib left them, saying, O my people, I did indeed convey to you the messages for which I was sent by my sustainer. I gave you good counsel. But how shall I lament over a people who refuse to believe? Whenever we sent a prophet to a town, we took up its people in suffering and adversity in order that they might learn humility. Then we changed their suffering into prosperity until they grew and multiplied and began to say, our fathers too were touched by suffering and affluence. Behold, we called them to account of a sudden while they did not realize their peril. If the people of the towns had but believed and feared ELOH, we should indeed have opened out to them all kinds of blessings from heaven and earth. But they rejected the truth, and we brought them to book for their misdeeds. Did the people of the towns feel secure against the coming of our wrath by night while they were asleep? Or else, did they feel secure against its coming in broad daylight while they played about carefree? Did they then feel secure against the plan of ELOH? But no one can feel secure from the plan of ELOH except those doomed to ruin. To those who inherit the earth in succession to its previous possessors, is it not a guiding lesson that, if we so willed, we could punish them too for their sins and seal up their hearts so that they could not hear? Such were the towns whose story we thus relate to you. There came indeed to them their messengers with clear signs, but they would not believe what they had rejected before. Thus does ELOH seal up the hearts of those who reject faith. Most of the men we did not find true to their covenant, but most of them we found rebellious and disobedient. Then, after them, we sent Moses with our signs to Pharaoh and his chiefs, but they wrongfully rejected them. So see what was the end of those who made mischief. Moses said, O Pharaoh, I am a messenger from the sustainer of the boundless universes, one for whom it is right to say nothing but truth about ELOH. Now I have come to you, people, from your sustainer with a clear sign. So let the children of Israel depart along with me. Pharaoh said, If indeed you have come with a sign, show it forth, if you are telling the truth. Then Moses drew his rod, and behold, it was a serpent, plain for all to see. And he drew out his hand, and behold, it was white to all beholders. Said the chiefs of the people of Pharaoh, "This is indeed a sorcerer well versed. His plan is to get you out of your land. Then what is it you counsel?" They said, "Keep him and his brother in suspense for a while, and send to the cities men to collect, and bring up to you all our sorcerers well versed." So there came the sorcerers to Pharaoh. They said, "Of course, we shall have a suitable reward if we win." He said, "Yes, and more. For you shall in that case be raised to posts nearest to my person." They said, "O Moses, will you throw first, or shall we have the first throw?" Said Moses, "You throw first." So when they threw, they bewitched the eyes of the people and struck terror into them, for they showed a great feat of magic. We put it into Moses' mind by inspiration. "Throw now your rod." And behold, it swallows up straightway all the falsehoods which they fake. Thus truth was confirmed, and all that they did was made of no effect. So the great ones were vanquished there and then, and were made to look small. But the sorcerers fell down prostrate in adoration, saying, "We believe in the sustainer of the boundless universes, the sustainer of Moses and Aaron." Said Pharaoh, "Do you believe in him before I give you permission? Surely this is a trick which you have planned in the city to drive out its people, but soon you shall know the consequences. Be sure I will cut off your hands and your feet on opposite sides, and I will cause you all to die on the cross." They said, "For us, we are but sent back to our sustainer. But you wreak your vengeance on us simply because we believed in the signs of our sustainer when they reached us. Our sustainer, pour out on us patience and constancy, and take our souls unto you as Muslims who bow to your will." Said the chiefs of Pharaoh's people, "Will you leave Moses and his people to spread mischief in the land and to abandon you and your gods?" He said, "We will slay their male children. We will save alive only their females, and we have irresistible power over them." Moses said to his people, "Pray for help from ELOH, and wait in patience and constancy. For the earth is ELOH's to give as a heritage to such of his servants as he pleases, and the end is best for the righteous." They said, "We have had nothing but trouble, both before and after you came to us." He said, "It may be that your sustainer will destroy your enemy and make you inheritors in the earth, that so he may try you by your deeds." We punished the people of Pharaoh with years of drought and shortness of crops, that they might receive admonition. But when good times came, they said, "This is due to us." When gripped by calamity, they ascribed it to evil omens connected with Moses and those with him. Behold, in truth, the omens of evil are theirs in ELOH's sight, but most of them do not understand. They said to Moses, "Whatever be the signs you bring to work therewith your sorcery on us, we shall never believe in you." So we sent plagues on them, wholesale death, locusts, lice, frogs and blood, signs openly self-explained, but they were steeped in arrogance, a people given to reprobation. Every time the penalty fell on them, they said, O Moses, on our behalf, call on your sustainer in virtue of his promise to you. If you will remove the penalty from us, we shall truly believe in you, and we shall send away the children of Israel with you. But every time we removed the penalty from them according to a fixed term which they had to fulfill, behold, they broke their word. So we exacted retribution from them. We drowned them in the sea because they rejected our signs and failed to take warning from them. And we made a people considered weak and of no account, inheritors of lands in both east and west, lands whereon we sent down our blessing. The fair promise of your sustainer was fulfilled for the children of Israel because they had patience and constancy. And we leveled to the ground the great works and fine buildings which Pharaoh and his people erected with such pride. We took the children of Israel with safety across the sea. They came upon a people devoted entirely to some idols that they had. They said, O Moses, fashion for us a god like the gods they have. He said, surely you are a people without knowledge. As to these folks, the cult they are in is but a fragment of a ruin, and vain is the worship which they practice. He said, shall I seek for you a God other than the true God, ELOH, when it is ELOH who has endowed you with gifts above the nations? And remember, we rescued you from Pharaoh's people who afflicted you with the worst of penalties, who slew your male children and saved alive your females. And that was a momentous trial from your sustainer. We appointed for Moses 30 nights and completed the period with 10 more. Thus was completed the term of communion with his sustainer, 40 nights. And Moses had charged his brother Aaron before he went up, act for me amongst my people, do right, and do not follow the way of those who do mischief. When Moses came to the place appointed by us, and his sustainer addressed him, he said, O my sustainer, show yourself to me, that I may look upon you. ELOH said, by no means can you see me direct, but look upon the mount. If it abide in its place, then shall you see me. When his sustainer manifested his glory on the mount, he made it as dust, and Moses fell down in a swoon. When he recovered his senses, he said, glory be to you. To you I turn in repentance, and I am the first to believe. ELOH said, O Moses, I have chosen you above other men by the mission I have given you and the words I have spoken to you. Take then the revelation which I give you and be of those who give thanks. And we ordained laws for him in the tablets in all matters, both commanding and explaining all things, and said, take and hold these with firmness, and enjoin your people to hold fast by the best in the precepts. Soon shall I show you the homes of the wicked, how they lie desolate. Those who behave arrogantly on the earth in defiance of right, I will turn them away from my signs Even if they see all the signs, they will not believe in them. And if they see the way of right conduct, they will not adopt it as the way. But if they see the way of error, that is the way they will adopt. For they have rejected our signs and failed to take warning from them. Those who reject our signs and the meeting in the hereafter, vain are their deeds. Can they expect to be rewarded except as they have wrought? The people of Moses made in his absence out of their ornaments the image of a calf for worship. It seemed too low. Did they not see that it could neither speak to them nor show them the way? They took it for worship, and they did wrong. When they repented and saw that they had erred, they said, "If our sustainer have not mercy upon us and forgive us, we shall indeed be of those who perish." When Moses came back to his people, angry and grieved, he said, "Evil it is that you have done in my place, in my absence. Did you make haste to bring on the judgment of your sustainer?" He put down the tablets, seized his brother by the hair of his head, and dragged him to him. Aaron said, "Son of my mother, the people did indeed reckon me as nothing, and went near to slaying me. Make not the enemies rejoice over my misfortune, nor count me amongst the people of reprobation." Moses prayed, "O my sustainer, forgive me and my brother. Admit us to your mercy. For you are the most merciful of those who show mercy." Those who took the calf for worship will indeed be overwhelmed with wrath from their sustainer and with shame in this life. Thus do we recompense those who invent falsehoods. But those who do wrong but repent thereafter and truly believe, verily your sustainer is thereafter oft forgiving, most merciful. When the anger of Moses was appeased, he took up the tablets. In the writing thereon was guidance and mercy for such as fear their sustainer. And Moses chose 70 of his people for our place of meeting. When they were seized with violent quaking, he prayed, "O my sustainer, if it had been your will, you could have destroyed long before both them and me. Would you destroy us for the deeds of the foolish ones among us? This is no more than your trial. By it you cause whom you will to stray, and you lead whom you will into the right path. You are our protector, so forgive us and give us your mercy, for you are the best of those who forgive. And ordain for us that which is good in this life and in the hereafter, for we have turned to you." He said, "With my punishment I visit whom I will, but my mercy extends to all things. That mercy I shall ordain for those who do right and practice regular charity, and those who believe in our signs, those who follow the messenger, the unlettered prophet, whom they find mentioned in their own scriptures, in the law and the gospel. For he commands them what is just, and forbids them what is evil. He allows them as lawful what is good and pure, and prohibits them from what is bad and impure. He releases them from their heavy burdens and from the yokes that are upon them. So it is those who believe in him, honor him, help him, and follow the light which is sent down with him. It is they who will prosper. Say, O men, I am sent to you all as the messenger of ELOH, to whom belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth. There is no God but he. It is he that gives both life and death. So believe in ELOH and his messenger, the unlettered prophet, who believes in ELOH and his words. Follow him, that so you may be guided. Of the people of Moses, there is a section who guide and do justice in the light of truth. We divided them into 12 tribes or nations. We directed Moses by inspiration when his thirsty people asked him for water. Strike the rock with your staff. Out of it there gushed forth 12 springs. Each group knew its own place for water. We gave them the shade of clouds and sent down to them manna and quail, saying, eat of the good things which we have provided for you. But they rebelled. To us they did no harm, but they harmed their own souls. And remember, it was said to them, dwell in this town and eat therein as you wish, but say the word of humility and enter the gate in a posture of humility. We shall forgive you your faults. We shall increase the portion of those who do good. But the transgressors among them changed the word from that which had been given to them. So we sent on them a plague from heaven, for that they repeatedly transgressed. Ask them concerning the town standing close by the sea. Behold, they transgressed in the matter of the Sabbath. For on the day of their Sabbath their fish did come to them, openly holding up their heads. But on the day they had no Sabbath, they did not come. Thus did we make a trial of them, for they were given to transgression. When some of them said, why do you preach to a people whom ELOH will destroy or visit with a terrible punishment? Said the preachers, to discharge our duty to your sustainer, and perchance they may fear him. When they disregarded the warnings that had been given them, we rescued those who forbade evil, but we visited the wrongdoers with a grievous punishment, because they were given to transgression. When in their insolence they transgressed all prohibitions, we said to them, be you apes despised and rejected? Behold, your sustainer did declare that he would send against them to the day of judgment those who would afflict them with grievous penalty. Your sustainer was quick in retribution, but he is also oft forgiving, most merciful. We broke them up into sections on this earth. There are among them some that are the righteous and some that are of the opposite. We have tried them with prosperity and adversity in order that they might turn to us. After them succeeded an evil generation. They inherited the book, but they chose for themselves the vanities of this world, saying, for excuse, everything will be forgiven us. Even so, if similar vanities came their way, they would again seize them. Was not the covenant of the book taken from them, that they would not ascribe to ELOH anything but the truth? And they study what is in the book. But best for the righteous is the home in the hereafter. Will you not understand? As to those who hold fast by the book and establish regular prayer, never shall we suffer the reward of the righteous to perish. When we shook the mount over them as if it had been a canopy, and they thought it was going to fall on them, we said, hold firmly to what we have given you, and bring ever to remembrance what is therein. Perchance you may fear ELOH. When your sustainer drew forth from the children of Adam, from their loins, their descendants, and made them testify concerning themselves, saying, am I not your sustainer who cherishes and sustains you? They said, yes, we do testify. This, lest you should say on the day of judgment, of this we were never mindful. Or lest you should say, our fathers before us may have taken false gods, but we are their descendants after them. Will you then destroy us because of the deeds of men who are futile? Thus do we explain the signs in detail, and perchance they may turn to us. Relate to them the story of the man to whom we sent our signs, but he passed them by. So Satan followed him up, and he went astray. If it had been our will, we should have elevated him with our signs, but he inclined to the earth and followed his own vain desires. His similitude is that of a dog. If you attack him, he lolls out his tongue. Or if you leave him alone, he still lolls out his tongue. That is the similitude of those who reject our signs. So relate the story, perchance they may reflect. Evil as an example are people who reject our signs and wrong their own souls. Whom ELOH guides, he is on the right path. Whom he rejects from his guidance, such are the persons who perish. Many are the jinns and men we have made for hell. They have hearts wherewith they understand not, eyes wherewith they see not, and ears wherewith they hear not. They are like cattle, nay, more misguided, for they are heedless of warning. The most beautiful names belong to ELOH, so call on him by them. But shun such men as use profanity in his names. For what they do, they will soon be requited. Of those we have recreated are people who direct others with truth and dispense justice therewith. Those who reject our signs we shall gradually visit with punishment in ways they perceive not. Respite will I grant to them, for my scheme is strong and unfailing. Do they not reflect? Their companion is not seized with madness. He is but a perspicuous warner. Do they see nothing in the government of the heavens and the earth and all that ELOH has created? Do they not see that it may well be that their term is near drawing to an end? And what message after this will they then believe? To such as ELOH rejects from his guidance, there can be no guide. He will leave them in their trespasses, wandering in distraction. They ask you about the final hour. When will be its appointed time? Say, the knowledge thereof is with my sustainer alone. None but he can reveal as to when it will occur. Heavy were its burden through the heavens and the earth. Only all of a sudden will it come to you. They ask you as if you were eager in search thereof. Say, the knowledge thereof is with ELOH alone, but most men do not know. Say, I have no power over any good or harm to myself except as ELOH wills. If I had knowledge of the unseen, I should have multiplied all good, and no evil should have touched me. I am but a warner and a bringer of glad tidings to those who have faith. It is he who created you from a single person and made his mate of like nature, in order that he might dwell with her in love. When they are united, she bears a light burden and carries it about unnoticed. When she grows heavy, they both pray to ELOH, their sustainer, saying, if you give us a goodly child, we vow we shall ever be grateful. But when he gives them a goodly child, they ascribe to others a share in the gift they have received. But ELOH is exalted high above the partners they ascribe to him. Do they indeed ascribe to him as partners things that can create nothing, but are themselves created? No aid can they give them, nor can they aid themselves. If you call them to guidance, they will not obey. For you it is the same whether you call them or you hold your peace. Verily, those whom you call upon besides ELOH are servants like you. Call upon them and let them listen to your prayer, if you are indeed truthful. Have they feet to walk with, or hands to lay hold with, or eyes to see with, or ears to hear with? Say, call your God partners. Scheme your worst against me, and give me no respite. For my protector is ELOH, who revealed the book from time to time, and he will choose and befriend the righteous. But those you call upon besides him are unable to help you, and indeed to help themselves. If you call them to guidance, they do not hear. You will see them looking at you, but they do not see. Hold to forgiveness, command what is right, but turn away from the ignorant. If a suggestion from Satan assails your mind, seek refuge with ELOH, for he hears and knows all things. Those who fear ELOH, when a thought of evil from Satan assaults them, bring ELOH to remembrance when, lo, they see aright. But their brethren, the evil ones, plunge them deeper into error and never relax their efforts. If you do not bring them a revelation, they say, why have you not got it together? Say, I but follow what is revealed to me from my sustainer. This is nothing but lights from your sustainer, and guidance and mercy for any who have faith. When the Koran is read, listen to it with attention and hold your peace, that you may receive mercy. And you, O reader, bring your sustainer to remembrance in your very soul, with humility and in reverence, without loudness in words, in the mornings and evenings. And you be not of those who are unheedful. Those who are near to your sustainer do not disdain to do him worship. They celebrate his praises and bow down before him.